Hi, I'm Susan Criss, and I want to talk to you about something very serious. I want to talk to you about what are called end-of-life documents. I actually prefer to call them life documents because these are documents that reflect what you want, what your wishes are, and they don't all deal with the end of life. I have to warn you, we may be interrupted by the Black and Tan security team, which are three black and tan dachshunds who feel the need to interject themselves into every part of my life that they can. These documents are important now that we're in a pandemic, but they're also documents we should all have, even in the best of times, because you never know what will happen, and sometimes you don't have the time to get everything in order the way that you'd like to. These are legal documents, and I strongly encourage you to see a lawyer to make sure that these documents are going to be effective and to truly express what you want. That would be Esther. The first one is a will. It's important to have a will, even if you're going to leave property to someone who would inherit by law without the document. Having the will make it so much easier and less expensive for them to see that they can access whatever you are leaving for them to access. The second document is called a medical power of attorney. Now, this is really probably one of the most important ones to take care of right now. The medical power of attorney gives somebody that you choose and trust the ability to make important medical decisions for you in the event that you're not able to. This doesn't mean that they get to override you when a decision is to be made, but these are documents that in the event that you're unable to either understand what's going on, unable to make a decision, or unable to express what you want. This gives the person you trust the ability to make those decisions in your place. I had these done for myself about a week ago, and I put the person closest to me as the person having my medical power of attorney. But since he and I do a lot of things together and something could happen where we both um, get in an accident or something together, I put an alternate there. I put a relative who I'm close to, who I trust, who has a lot of medical training and understanding that so that I'm comfortable with her making the right decision in the event that she has to. The next document is called a HIPAA. A HIPAA release is a document that allows someone to learn about your medical condition or look at your medical records or discuss your condition with a doctor or nurse. If they do not have your HIPAA, then a doctor or nurse or custodian of records isn't going to share one bit of information with them about your condition, your prognosis, or anything to do with your medical situation or health. In my business as a lawyer, sometimes I have to get a HIPAA release from my clients to get medical records that will help them in a trial or some sort of litigation. Now, if you have a loved one who's in jail, then or prison, it's very important that you have a HIPAA release to allow you to know what's going on with their health. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice, which used to be called the Texas Department of Corrections, is a Texas prison system. And they have their own unique HIPAA release that they want to be used. So if you have a loved one in the jails, use the same one. If you have a loved one in jail or prison, it's important that they fill this document out, giving you permission to know what's going on. Otherwise, if they are taken to the infirmary or to a hospital or anything is going on with their health, no one can tell you anything about it unless that's been filled out. Also, the VA, the Veterans Administration, also has a form that they require in order to get any sort of medical information about a veteran that they're treating or are dealing with medical issues. There's also a document called a medical directive. A medical directive is a document that expresses what your wishes are in the event that you become terminally ill and the doctors have decided that there is nothing they can do to improve your condition. And the final document I want to talk to you about is called a power of attorney, and it's different from the medical power of attorney because this deals with all of the other decisions other than your medical condition. And a power of attorney a regular power of attorney can be very specific or it can be very general. You can give someone the power to make decisions for you in all of your business, that, or you could be very particular and say, no, I want to give this person the power to make decisions in my tax matters or in some litigation I'm involved in or insurance matters or my bank accounts or a business that I own. It's up to you in the document to indicate how much power you want to give that person. And you can also make the document reflect whether or not you want it to be only effective in the event that you're incapacitated, or if you want the person to go ahead and have that power now. And that's probably the one that you would want to talk to an attorney about in great detail to make sure that the document reflects exactly what you want. Now, we're in a certain situation now with social distancing and orders and restraints and essential business rules that limit our ability to communicate with people to take care of these kind of situations. Businesses that are considered essential are allowed to remain open, but they still have to follow the social distancing guidelines and not have too many people involved. Nevertheless, there are many attorneys who are doing some or all of their work at home, and they're doing it online. They still can take care of these things. Some of them are still having office hours where you could go see them, and some of them would be doing a bit of both. Regardless of who you go to, and believe me, this is not a commercial for my law firm, because with the number of people that I'm hoping to reach with this, there's no way that my law firm, which is 2 lawyers and 3 paralegals, could handle this volume. But I do want you to go see an attorney to talk about all this and to be sure that your wishes are protected and your interests are protected. So whether you deal with an attorney online or whether you make an appointment and go into their office, it's important to have these documents drafted by an attorney and looked at by an attorney if you happen to do them yourself online. But after the documents are prepared, that's not all that has to happen. These documents have to be executed. And executing a document is the process that you go through in signing it that will enable the person who carries that document to prove that it's legit. That's what they do to prove that this truly was signed by you, that this was done under your own free will, it was done voluntarily, there was no undue influence, there was no sort of funny business, and that you were competent at the time to do this. The process isn't the same for all of these documents, but it's similar. The will requires 2 people to witness your signature, and a notary has to witness all 3 of you signing it. And then your witnesses and you have to sign each page, have to initial each page. You sign the last part of it, but you initial each page, and then the notary signs it. Some of the other documents either require 2 signatures of witnesses or a notary or one or the other, depending upon the document. Well, that's also kind of difficult to put together during these days of social distancing and the guidelines we're under, but it's still possible. There are some law offices that have enough space where the participants could spread out and still get this done. And there are some law offices that are doing this in what they call drive-by executions. And that kind of sounds almost like a murder, but it's not. Drive-by execution is where you would remain in your car and everyone would do this in a way where the exposure is limited. It's awkward, but it's possible, and there are some law offices that are doing it. And there's another way that part of it gets done, and that is there are online notaries. And that's it's kind of new, it's kind of different. And it's more than just having a notary participate by Skype. The notary has to be certified as an online notary in addition to being a legal notary. It's a little more difficult, but it's important that you have these documents And they're the documents that if later on you change your mind and decide, no, I want someone else to have my medical power of attorney, or I want someone else to have my HIPAA, then that's possible to do. And one more thing about the HIPAA, you can have more than one person give have a HIPAA release. You might have, your spouse or your partner and a parent or child. Whatever you want to do. It's important that these documents reflect what you want to, and it's so much easier to get this done before something bad happens. So, all going through a difficult time. It's very complicated. It's very stressful. But taking care of these documents will take away some of the stress in the event something bad happens. Hopefully, you won't get the illness. But over the course of life, things do happen, and it's good to have these documents for other reasons as well. Please be careful. Please follow all the social distancing rules. Protect yourselves and protect your loved ones. And let's get through this.